So I was just in northern Spain in Spanish Basque country, specifically in the city of San Sebastian. I got to try Basque cheesecake from this place called La Viña, which is where it was actually invented. I actually ate this cheesecake twice in one day. First in the morning, my girlfriend and I walked from the Airbnb to the spot, got a nice cup of coffee, and ate it outside. It came out in these 2 big pieces. We didn't know it came out served in a double portion, so we each got our own, which is a crazy way to start your day, I will say. But it was really good. It was a little on the firmer side, very interesting. I thought it might be a little creamier. Later in the day, we actually took a food tour, and we finished that food tour again at La Viña. We got served the exact same pieces of cheesecake in the exact same way, and it was completely different, night and day. The outside was a little bit firm, and the inside was kind of a more creamy consistency, which is really where I think this dessert shines. That textural variation. We're really gonna try to go for that textural variation today. And these things just look like little works of art kind of plopped on these shelves all over the restaurant. It looks glorious, it's beautiful. It's almost like a sculpture in and of itself. I'm gonna say it again just because I really want to drive it home. Textural variation is what sets this cheesecake apart from other cheesecakes, and just, in my opinion, it's what makes it an OP dessert. Let's talk about the ingredients. So a couple of the ingredients here just worth mentioning. We have some tempered cream cheese. This is just good old Philadelphia, right? Cream cheese. Something that I wanted in my recipe was I wanted it to be a little more rich than usual. So what I have here are 5 whole eggs and also 2 extra egg yolks, which is just gonna add to that fattiness. I call for a little less sugar than you might see in a traditional Basque cheesecake recipe. I just like it a little less sweet. I want that cheese to shine. This is just good old all-purpose flour. That's gonna help firm things up. We have some heavy cream here. It's really important. Don't use half and half or whole milk. We want it rich. And of course, this stuff here. So this is actually a little insider tip here. My tour guide, who is from San Sebastian, told me that I need to use a certain Basque cheese in my cheesecake to kind of make it taste authentic, right? Now, I don't know how to pronounce it. We're gonna pop a picture in the name right there. Yeah, Basque is a crazy language. It's actually one of the oldest languages in the world. I can't even read and speak English, so I'm not even gonna try that. But she told me if you can't find that cheese, that you can use good old Manchego, which is available at most grocery stores now. It's just a Spanish sheep's milk cheese that's very tangy. It's a semi-hard cheese, and it's gonna basically take your cheesecake from something that's kind of special to really, 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 really special. Before we make the batter, I wanna show you how to prepare the pan. Very important step. 9-inch springform pan. This is what we're gonna be baking in today. Very important. You can pick one of these up from our boy Bezos for like 10, 15 bucks or something. I'll leave a link below. At La Viña, like I said, those beautiful sculpture cheesecakes, they wrap their spring forms with a little bit of tin foil, and then they use parchment paper. We're not gonna use the tin foil today. I'll talk about that in a second, but we are gonna use this. This is a rustic situation, so you don't gotta be too crazy about, making the perfect little liner. I'm gonna take some good old Pam here. I'm almost out of this Pam. I literally got this like for the cheesecake. That's how many cheesecakes I made. We're gonna spray the inside. That's gonna help this first layer stick. Now we're gonna spray the bottom of this, and I'm gonna take our other paper here and put it the opposite way so we can get full coverage, okay? It's kind of a mess, but it's a beautiful mess, So now, just for a little insurance policy, I'm gonna take Pam again and spray the inside, just to help that not stick. Pan prepped, let's make the batter. In the bowl of a stand mixer, we are going to add all of our tempered cream cheese, that Manchego cheese, all the sugar, and just a little pinch of salt. Remember, we season our desserts. So now all we gotta do is cream this together. We're gonna lock and load with our paddle attachment. I'm gonna go stir mode here. We're gonna pop this down and scoot the cheese off the sidewalls and off the mixer attachment. I would say that's sufficiently creamed. So I'm gonna add 1 egg at a time here. And then we're gonna wait until that egg fully disappears before adding the next one. Now we can add in all of the heavy cream. It's really gonna loosen this batter up. And last but certainly not least, our flour. And we add this last because we don't really want this gluten to develop. This is just to help kind of firm things up. Low speed, finish that off. So notice a couple things here. 1, it's a little rough on the top. That's gonna smooth out in the oven, no problem, don't worry about it. 2, so I mentioned at La Viña, they use tin foil. I don't think it's necessary because what that would do is sort of diffuse some of that heat coming up from the bottom of the oven. For us, I like to use the sheet tray here to make it easier to handle, to turn around, and this will act as a diffuser. So yeah, that's why I only use the parchment paper. Plus I think it looks a little nicer with just parchment. Got our oven preheated to 475, rack in the middle. We're gonna pop this carefully right in the center. Wonderful. Close her up. And that's gonna bake off for 30 to 40 minutes. I'm gonna start with 30. Everyone's oven is different. It's gonna cook at different times. The biggest takeaway that I learned throughout this whole process probably is to bake for texture and not color, which means we want it to be jiggly and wavy, which I'm gonna show you when this is finished up. At the end of the day, if your cheesecake is looking a little pale, which it shouldn't be because we're cooking at such high heat, you can always turn the oven up a little bit and just give it that extra little bump of heat to get that nice dark brown color on top. I've tried this at 400. I've tried this at 425, at 500, at 525. The higher you get past 475, the less room for error there is, put it that way. You can really overcook this cheesecake and really burn the top easily. So this 475 mark is that perfect in between of kind of like high, medium heat. I would say mostly on the high side, but it's just high enough, put it that way. All right, so about 15 minutes have elapsed. We're just gonna do a little rotation. Look, it's still pretty jiggly, no color on the top there, but it's getting somewhere. Just make sure that we get some even cooking. Pop that in the back. And we got about 15 to 25 more minutes. We'll just check on it. All right, check this out, check this out, check this out. See that jiggle here, that wave? That's what you're looking for here. Without that wave, if it's too firm or it only jiggles in the middle, you're not gonna have a custardy, creamy cheesecake, which in my opinion is the whole point of Basque cheesecake, right? All right, so at this point, we're pretty much good to go. We gotta let this rest though. You gotta have patience here. Let it cool until you can use your hands to pick it up from the sheet tray, right? Transfer it to the fridge, chill it for 6 to 8 hours. If you have the patience, I would let it go overnight just to really make sure it solidifies and rests fully. Then when you wanna eat it, take it out of the fridge to temper at least 2 hours before you wanna eat it. I know it's a process. You want this thing to be at room temperature. So when you take it out of the fridge, it's gonna be pretty cold. But lucky for us, I planned for this. So I went ahead and made a cheesecake yesterday, popped it in the fridge, took it out this morning, and now it should be tempered and perfectly ready to go. So let's slice into it. Peel back some of this parchment paper here. Oh yeah, super soft. Oh yeah, look at that. Custardy beauty right there. Beautiful. All right, now to serve this puppy, there's nothing wrong with just, you know, a good old shot of espresso or an Americano. But there's one pairing that completely blew me away. A local San Sebastian resident actually showed me this, and it kind of like changes this dessert completely. Serve this with a little sherry wine, it's gonna change your life. So you don't need that much, maybe just a tiny little bit. This is just a fortified wine with the Pedro X grape. Though it might sound like a billionaire superhero, that's actually the name of the grape, which is interesting. Yeah. You can see here, look how cooked the outside is, bruleed the top is, but creamy the inside is. You could think of it like medium rare cheesecake. Let's just take a little quick bite of this on its own. Look at that. Cream Town, the piece de resistance. I'm gonna pour some sherry directly on this cheesecake, just a little bit, just a little bit. It's almost like a cross between cheesecake and flan. I'll tell you right now, I say this a lot, I don't have a sweet tooth. I'm not a dessert guy. I don't like dessert wine, but for whatever reason, this combination of the sherry with this cheesecake, it's special. I urge you to try it, even if you're more of a savory loving person, salty person, because this, oh so sweet, delicious, subtle, creamy cheesecake, bro, is life-changing, and you should try it. Look at that, and it's still firm on this side here. So you have this creaminess, this boozy, sweet prune, raisiny sherry, some of that firm, some of that creamy. I don't mean to like be one of those like overreaction, you gotta try this, but holy, it makes me a happy, happy boy. 11:51. Thank you for coming on this cheesy journey with me. If you liked the video, like the video, sub to the Chansky if you're new to the Chansky. And the easiest, best way to support us is by supporting the grocery fund, by donating to the grocery fund. All of these cheesecake trials that we did today and everything else that we need to run and operate the channel is possible from your support over there. So if you can do that, we'd love it. Love you, I kiss you, I hug you. But if you can't, no worries. Come say what up in Discord. Regardless, we're chilling, we're chatting, say what's good. Let me know in the comments below, are you gonna make this cheesecake? If you do, don't make the same mistakes I did. Follow these instructions. That's pretty much all I got for you. So, adios.